So what are you going to turn tonight, Nevin?
So I'm going to try to do a lazy Susan. So basically it's only 3 parts. It'd be a base, which I'm going to try to make it out of this if it works. And then you need a pin that would kind of look like this when it's done. A little bit more square. And then the top piece, which I put around here somewhere. Yeah. So hopefully this will be perfectly round and it'll stay in one piece. And yeah, we'll go from there. So first thing I'm going to do is put the chuck on. Let's start. So for this, I'm going to try to put the bearing in. So I'm going to use a Forstner bit, 2-inch, and then basically drill in about 1/2 inch for this one so it sits in flush. You have to do basically just a chuck hold on the back and that's pretty much it. So if you guys want to see what I made before, this one I made like a year ago, so it's a little rough and it's been sitting in the garage. And this one turned out a little bit better.
So you're not using any of those little busy bee lazy Susan things, eh?
No, those things are
Real
garbage.
bearing.
Yeah. Yeah, it rolls pretty good. I mean, once you get some weight on it, it spins really well, so should be decent.
That's good.
Yeah. Let's see how she goes.
He's measuring for the bearing bird. He's measuring for the bearing.
Where's the thing he wants measured?
I said, where'd you find this?
Seems about right.
Looks good?
Is it the same thickness, full length?
I'd say so.
You think so?
So that's where your bearing's going to sit?
No, this is the back side, so I'm just making a recess so that I can flip it around, and then I'm going to put the Forstner bit in.
Okay.
So you can hear me all right, eh?
Yep.
Okay.
We could have your wife narrate.
Yeah, she's like, no. Is there any way to lock it, like
Yeah, spindles on the.
Backside the wheel there.
backside?
The backside.
Oh, okay, like this there.
There's that little lever.
Okay. Okay, perfect. That makes things a little bit easier, eh? My lathe is a lot smaller than this. It's a learning curve.
It's always learning.
See how she goes.
Remember those last words.
See how she goes.
would you just trim that face up?
Yeah, just trying to make it. Oh, I had a painted piece here, just 6x6 that I had just sitting around. So I just want to take the paint off, make it flat, and then after that, then I'll take the Forster bit and then drill into the face of it.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. Just sand it off a bit. Sorry, I'm not the most entertaining when I'm turning, just because I don't really talk much. So. Alright. Yeah, so that's pretty much the base piece. It's not perfect, but pretty close.
You don't say that, you say it is.
Because it's perfect
It's
every
mint.
time.
Sell for $100.
It's exactly the way you designed it to happen.
Exactly, right? So the next piece that I'm going to do is the pin. So basically you want each side to be 1 inch, roughly. It can be a little bit undersized because you use like a 2-part epoxy to put them into the bearing, and then you just glue the other side into the top. So basically I did a 1/4 inch section for the middle. So basically a 1/4 inch, and then the bottom I did about 3/8 of an inch, roughly. So I'm sticking the calipers and I'll start cutting in, and once I get to where I think it's going to be a nice tight fit, then I'll move on to the next section. Okay, so that's pretty much where I want it. I'm just going to make this just a little bit smaller here. It's a little bit too thick for what I want. Fourth try is the charm, I guess. Okay. So I'm just going to cut that off, just using the parting tool again, and that's pretty much all you have to do for the center pin. upside down. It's not going too bad. Nothing's blown up yet, so that's awesome.
Nobody's left, so.
Yeah, exactly. They're waiting until the donuts are gone. That's it.
Then they're gonna go.
Exactly.
Oh, good job. So how does it look from that side of the lathe, looking out at all these?
Yeah, absolutely terrifying. All right, so I already prepped this. I was trying to go close to 12 inches, but my lathe, it's about like 11 3/4 roughly, give or take. So I was trying to figure out how I could do it, just keep my chuck the way it was. So I decided to do a waste block on this side. And so basically I turned it round, and I made a mark for my center point that was the same size as this. And then I knew where to put the waste block. And then what I did after that was basically took a piece of paper, like just brown paper bag, and did a paper joint for it. And so basically when I did that, all I did was to set it so it's like perfectly flat against here, I put the glue on, then put the paper on, kind of smushed it around until it was flat, then put this on with the glue, and I used the lathe as a way to clamp this on here so it's nice and tight. So in theory, this shouldn't blow up on me, hopefully. This is maple and I think hickory. I just had a bunch of junk laying around the house there, so I just cut strips up and made it work. So pretty sure that's all it is, either that or walnut too. So. This works. Okay, so this side is going to be the bottom. I put my waste block on the top side. So once I flatten it out, I'm going to change out the Forstner bit for a 1 inch, and I'm going to drill in about 1/4 inch or so, maybe about 5/16, so that way I can put that pin in and it'll be nice and flat. And then I'm going to flip it over. Oh, and I also got to make that recess so I can put the chuck on here. So I'll do that, and then flip it over, and then smooth out this side, smooth out the face, and that should be it, hopefully.
Is your lock still on?
Yeah, I think so. I would cut it eventually.
Yeah, once it starts smoking.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Or leave the tiny wrench in the chuck and start it up.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot, good. All right. Good. So I pretty much got the shape I want. So I'm just gonna sand it off really quick, and we'll start doing the cutting for the chuck, and then that's pretty much it for this side.
Do you want that bigger stuff?
Yeah, probably good, eh? I swear I just had it. Usually I'm a lot more organized than this.
We all
So what did you need, just the 1 inch?
Yeah, just the 1 inch worst.
Did you put it on the deck?
I don't think so.
It's something I do.
Right? Yeah, that's what I usually do. Oh, there we go. Found it. We're good.
I know you didn't forget it.
Right. I had it in there right to start with.
Yeah.
Of course. So in theory, this should be able to turn around and everything works. Hopefully.
Looking good.
Yeah, it's coming along, eh? And then probably be a good idea to take the waste block off it. So for this, I'm supposed to just use mallet and chisel. I'm just gonna knock it off. It's the first time using one, so that's awesome. It worked out pretty good.
Looks good, it's slick.
Right, they're slick, right? Alright. So, should just mount on nice and easy. Hopefully it doesn't blow up on me. Very good. Okay. Alright, so this side, I'm just going to take that off, and then I'm just going to put a little lip around the outside edge, and then clean this up, and then hopefully that's it. Yeah. Yeah, it's coming along. It hasn't blown up yet, so that's awesome. So what I like to do is just use a flat block just to smooth it out, last a little bit here. I'm not going to go crazy on it because it's just a demo piece, but. So that's pretty much it. It's not quite perfect, but I mean, we finished up at home. Any questions? No, pretty straightforward.
Why do you prefer using skew instead of like a bowl valve?
Because I'm in front of like 40 people. Because I'm in front of 40 people and I'm nervous. So, less chance of me screwing up. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if anybody wants to try it. I have extra bearings if you guys do want to try it. If not, yeah, well.
Can I get you a shirt with the shop key out of the shop?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, force of habit. I gotta stop doing that.
Where do you get those bearings?
Amazon. I think I paid $25 for 10, so not bad.
For the bearings?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
SDS?
What's that?
SDS bearings?
I'm not even sure which brand they are, but yeah. They're supposed to be industrial grade. But yeah. Amazon. Yeah. Yeah, they weren't very expensive. You get a 10-pack for 25, so works pretty good. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got.
How do you put the bearing on?
So you could use, if you take the drill chuck out, you can press it in with the back or the tailstock. If that doesn't work, you could use a drill press, or you can just press it in by hand if it's got a little bit of play in it.
Just CA glue?
I use 2-part epoxy, but you could use CA glue too. The only thing I would suggest is just sand the outside of the bearing as well as the inside part. That way it's got a little bit of something to grab to.
Okay, what else do
Sure, tell.
You want me?
you want?
You want me to do my safety?
Oh, sorry. You were at the beginning of the page. What happened?
That's okay, I don't know. So, my brother, just a little safety, couple things that came my way the last couple of weeks. And my brother works with a guy, and he sent him, well, or maybe my brother took this picture. So you can see that happen. And he's got a lathe, and he said, feel free to share this with your club and tell them don't wear loose long sleeve shirts. And he said also make sure your lathe has a kill switch, not just a shut off, a kill switch, because it sucked him in. He had just baggy things, sucked him in. Unfortunately, he didn't get hurt any worse than what you just saw. But again, so if you're a new turner, and just make sure that you have those things. And then a couple of days after, he sent me this, which has nothing to do with the lathe, but it has to do with power tools. And again, so again, the story there, I don't know the background, and I won't tell you the business, but the story there, and it wasn't the hand that holds the tool. So a lot of times, it's not the hand that holds the tool that ends up being hurt, right? It's the other one. So in this case, it was just a ricochet. Obviously the angle of the air gun was wrong, and he had his other hand in front of the air gun instead of maybe where it should have been. And then the other story, which just happened to me today, this morning.
Same guy?
No, different guys. So, and this one I just figured I'd show you because we have. If you're like me, you hate throwing out tools and you hate buying new things, right? So I'm at Rabbit Hill. I phoned my buddy a couple of days ago. Hey, you want to go to Rabbit Hill? It's going to be over. And he says, yeah, I'll try and find my equipment and we'll go for a ski. And so we're there, and the last run of the day, and I'll show you why the last run. All of a sudden I turn and Wayne's on his ass partway down the hill. And you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. So I walk up there, and his boots are from 1986. So you can see that he blew the toes out of both of them, right? And so I'm thinking, how could I use this if I'm going to talk about safety? And maybe the point being that if you have old tools, maybe sometimes it's time to buy new tools, or at least make sure that they're functional. And it's not like we were shredding the hill, like we were just out there, right? I'm on my snowboard and he's on his skis, and yeah, we don't shred the hill. We weren't in the training park. And all of a sudden he said, I noticed partway down, they were feeling a little bit different than they were before. And so again, in my head I'm thinking, as people who work with our hands, if something doesn't feel right, maybe shut off the machine and take a look before you, anyway. So he didn't get hurt, but we sure had a good laugh. So, and of course the story he'll tell his kids is, we're in the terrain park and we're just, whatever else. But so the boots are from 1986. So, coming up to 50 years old and just first generation molded boots and whatever else, right? So, anyway, there you go.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah.
All right, let's have a look at the show and tell stuff.
So it was a couple months ago, isn't it right, Jack? I was out with Jack, so when he wasn't looking, I grabbed his stump or two in the truck. But anyway, he gave me this piece of pistachio, and my wife needed a yarn bowl, so I made her a yarn bowl, and she is absolutely thrilled. So my honeydew list just dropped right down to almost nothing. Got to wear off real quick. But anyways, pistachios finished with Osmo, and basically it's just a bowl with a notch cut out of it. It took me more time to put this detail in than it did the rest of the bowl.
It's nice wood.
Beautiful wood. Pistachio. Where did it come from, Jack? Pistachio. Where did it come from? Arizona? Is this myrtlewood or pistachio? Myrtlewood, okay, yeah, see, I didn't even know what that was. So it's beautiful, beautiful wood. Thanks again, Jack.
Next time you need to make them little curly cubes there,
Yeah.
I got a machine that's do that in about 2 minutes.
You do so, I will remember that.
Thanks, Bert. Have a couple of these.
Run another set of elm. You've probably heard about my elm. This is a cord set of bowls. We cut the tree about June or July last year. I rough turned it, I corded it and rough turned it to about an inch thick. Let it sit for about 6 months. I put a weight on it and then measure it every little while. The weight loss stops to nothing, then I finally turn it. So anyway, I just like the nice kind of grain it had here. You can see how it fits inside of here with this black piece on the edge, following right through. So anyway, many bowls, but just no turn.
What
Cord system do you have?
Pardon?
What cord system do you have?
One way system. I got a small lathe, so I only had it's a 16-inch one. It's not for a bigger one like this. But it works well.
Came last month for box lid thing day, and my first didn't turn out so well. I blew the top off. When I got home, I got a piece of the grenadillo and finished it this way. The second one here was a bit better in the sense that I didn't blow anything off. But today I was working trying to make a bowl like this one. This one is tamarack, and it blew in my face about a month ago. And I glued it with let's see, glue with acrylic. So stained it. I was able to finish it. Today I tried to do the same thing, but it blew in my face again.
It looks like something from IKEA.
Yeah. So it just do. And I had a little piece of Purple Heart that was lying around, so I made a little plate. That's my story.
Very nice.
This is segmented vessel, we got 4 types of wood, cherry, maple, Wingate, walnut. Built it in 2 halves, made a paper joint, some feature ring, just did the contour flat on both the inside and the outside, and then glued it back on. Had it all nice and finished. One little spot that was not quite the way I wanted it, so I touched it up with a scraper, and at that point it flew off the lathe at about 2,000 RPM. We did 2 pieces and it was gouged it badly, and I just walked away for a couple of days. But I managed to cut the bottom off, but sand the dents out of it, and turned out not so bad.
Very nice.
So yeah, I was happy with it. Learned lots.
What kind of tailstock live center do you have?
How much, sorry?
Do you have a live center in your tailstock?
Well, no, that's why it came off. It was just, I should have just took a piece of sandpaper, it's all I needed to do. And I just forgot about it.
What I used were two pieces together.
Yeah.
Of the one-way light center, and you see that down 3/4.
Yeah.
I made an adapter made.
Yeah.
Screwed it on there. The other side fits on the chuck. And then you take a chuck. Chuck on the side.
Yeah, no,
Together.
yeah.
Don't lose enough of this pressure.
Yep.
Turn it outside and save you all that hard.
Yeah, no, I have something similar, and I also built out of plywood a great big giant wooden cone, depending on the size you want to press into it. That's very nice. Okay. This is a little bit simpler, this one. Just a chunk of butternut that I got from my neighbor who was here with us a few meetings ago. Put 4 little feet on the bottom. Finished it with Odie's. Looks good.
Howdy?
Odie's.
Oh, Odie's oil.
Oh.
I'll like it. Well, you can have it.
Would you rather have this one?
Yeah, that's good.
I got a couple of pieces with me tonight. I got a piece of maple, did a little inlay job on here with some color in there. And I used flat coat to finish it, just to get the to do the inlay, and I sand it back so it's nice and smooth. It's just a little dish. It's not really much of a piece.
You been watching spray wood burning, or?
Sorry?
I say you've been watching spray wood burning?
I sure have. The guy really does some nice stuff. This is a piece of willow that I got in the next subdivision over from where I live up there. It's Bruce Bluff, and it was a bit of a challenge piece. It had about 8 or so different branches sticking out here, and I thought it caught my eye when I seen it there hanging on the edge of the tree, and I thought I got to try something with this. So this is what I ended up with. And I got some pictures here of where it was when I started. You didn't focus this in on this shot here. Play it.
It looks scary.
So take your fingers in there.
There. That's how it started out.
It's fast enough.
Anyway, that's what I ended up with. And actually, it came off the lathe twice. I ended up with some design opportunity here. And there's a couple of cracks in it, but anyway, it still seemed to salvage. It's finished with Oswald. Inside and out, I think I probably got about 3 coats on it. And I put a bit of gold leaf around the rim, and I think it was a mistake. I wish I didn't do it. I don't think I can get it all off, so I just left it. But I wouldn't do it again. I thought it was going to highlight the edge a little bit, but I don't think it turned out as nice as it should. Probably would have been better if I left it alone.
Maybe because not enough contrast between the lighter.
That too can, yeah, it could be. But anyway, that's what I got.
Beautiful wood though.
Yeah, it actually is a fresh piece of scrap. Willow.
Very nice, Steve.
Small but mighty. We spent quite a couple of weekends on this one. Lidded box. Yes. I had to put a top on it because I decided that I was going to make through the whole thing and then decided I was going to turn it into a box. So I'm like, it's like, all right, we need a top on it. I had a nice piece of walnut, and so this is just a little maple. And then when I got it home and going, boy, it's kind of boring other than the maple top. So had the two-part epoxy, just left over from another project, and some metallic coloring, and thought, well, let's see how that works, and discovered that it likes to run.
It looks good though.
But I thought, you know, rather than fix it, I'm gonna just keep it.
Yeah, don't say it was an accident, say that's the way you planned it.
Well,
You meant it that way, didn't you?
Eventually, yeah, I meant it
Tell
that way.
people you'll do a demo on how to get those runs, so you.
Yeah, well, you know, you gotta turn it over a couple of times, and yeah. And this one, I thought I just started with the top and thought, oh, maybe we'll just do blue. I didn't like it. And did the bottom with copper and thought, yeah, I'm gonna do the top with copper too. And then ended up just only having just a little ring of the blue. Because that one liked to also run. And it ended up. So.
Looks good.
Cool, yeah. Mr. Warner. Finished it all, thanks.
Yes, I did. Who's driving home, John?
This is the third in a range of prototypes. It splits in half and you can insert a bag of wine, like you buy a box wine. And I've made them in various sizes. The first one I made, I only just started turning and I got really frustrated because I was getting so many captures going across screen, and I was ready to boot it out the door, and I suddenly thought, I know what. So I took it out to my 6x48 sander, turned it on, and shaped it on the sander. And I still have it, it still works. So yeah, it's still a bit of an experiment. I've decided to make the cradle this way instead of earlier types, and it works much better, so I'm happy with that. But it's been fun. There's about 200 pieces in it, so
Well,
it takes a little time. Any questions?
How is it open?
It splits in half. I have this little key on top to hold it together because once the wine is in, it tends to fall apart. There's 3 dowels, and the cradle holds it together as well. And this just screws in basically into the wood and holds it together. It's a bit fiddly to feed the spout through this half, but after you've done it a time or two, it's not quite so bad.
You'll drink half of it, then it'll fit.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry?
Do you have to drink half the wine and then it'll fit in there?
Well, yeah, because really, in order to do it, you pretty much have to put your hand in to get the spout through the hole. And sometimes that might entail a little bit of reduction in the volume of wine before you try. I haven't figured out how to do that yet, but when I do, I'll put it in the instructions.
should have.
Do you really want to? Ken Hall.
This is some elm from Bob's neighbor, and I always like to try some different shape. They aren't really too functional, maybe to store some jewelry in or something, but you'd have to dump it out. But I like
Wine
to
in there.
change it a look. a regular vessel, and then I used some Paduk for the top and bottom, and did some embellishing with that. It looks like a spring for a biography tool, and you get that quilted kind of look in it. And I bought that thing at the last symposium in Portland, Oregon, 6 years ago, and the symposium's there again this year, but I just started using it about 3 weeks ago, and I really like the contrast with the wood, eh? And this one here is just a little different shape, but just the one hole. I cored right through on the other one, but the biggest job is to get it hollowed out inside. You could turn it in 2 pieces, but these aren't.
How did you do that?
Carefully.
Yeah, that's right. I used gouges as far as I could go, but your angle is always a problem for cutting. And then I used, I don't know what they call those, they're a long-handled square shaft with a little round cutter.
Is it termite?
They're a hollowing one, and I used that to finish it off.
Easy wood?
Pardon?
Easy wood?
Yeah.
Ken, was that Jimmy Cruz tool,
Pardon?
that hollowing tool, is that the Jimmy Cruz mate?
Who?
Jimmy Cruz.
Yeah, I think he has, yeah.
It looks like a question mark? Is that with the shape?
No, I didn't have the hook one.
Okay.
No, I have just a straight shaft. And this is just the use of some beads and embellishing with the wood burning. Again, it's just a little jewelry box or nut box or something. But yeah, something that.
So the black portion, is that where the beading, that's the beading tool? Portion that's black on there, that's basically beading tool?
No, that's with the wood burning.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's, like I say, to look at it, it looks like a coil of string,
Yeah.
and then it has both ends coming up into the wood burner, just like, you know, that's where the heat comes from.
Okay, it's like a pattern, you just press it.
Well, yeah, it's about that wide,
Yeah,
and it just looks like a coil of wire.
yeah,
And then when you use quite a bit of heat,
yeah.
and press twice this way, one above the other,
Yeah.
and then we press one the opposite direction and keep going back and forth, and then start another row further, you know, offset and
Yeah.
keep going. Yeah.
This future vase was interesting because I have a nephew that brought a pallet for me. He said, I think it's hardwood. So we took it apart and found out that it's red oak. So I cut it up and started making a vase. And the first vase worked out very nice. And the second vase, I wasn't sure whether it had quite enough wood, so I thought, you know, we're going to try something different. We'll just go for the cowboy look. The left nail holes, the raw edges, the slivers, the whole works. But as I was working on it, I got a catch. Obviously, a good one. Because in about 5 seconds or so, this thing had bounced all over my breath. And the reason that I brought it in to show you folks is because I know when you start turning, in your first year or two, you find yourself wondering, well, why is this happening to me, and what is this happening to me, and how come it never happens to anybody else, and so on and so on. Well, it happens to others too. So here it is. And no, I'm not going to try and glue it together. I'm not going to try and salvage it. It's destined for the fireplace. Simple as that. And I wouldn't waste any money on buying red oak for any future projects. So after that came off, I thought, well, let's try something else. Designed a new vase, got some maple, some real turning wood, and this is the result that I got from it. The one thing that was kind of unexpected, the finishing, is the coloration that I got here. I took the maple and stained it, and I think what has happened is that in the center of each segment, the grain runs perfectly parallel to the outline of the vase, and then as the chisel wraps around, it gets into a wee bit of end grain on each segment, and this is why I end up with these darker sections. And it works out not bad. This was done with stain, then Osmo, and then the Beal wax system. So
What's that? Osmo and what?
it's a 3-component wax application.
Buffer.
It's called Beal.
Where do you get
I got it in New Valley. The reason that I like it is you can put the Osmo on in a dusty situation, whereas any other finishes, if you have dust in the air, it'll show up on it. But the Osmo doesn't. Then when the Osmo is dry, I use 1,000 grit sandpaper, and then I wax it, and you get a fairly decent finish. Any other questions?
Very nice, Bob. That's it?
Oh, Mike's got some stuff.
Oh, I do. Next do some more. Oh.
Oh, that was it.
It's the wood laundry.
Okay, so this one is a prototype that combines my two hobbies, segmented turning and CNCing. So this was glued up in a rough shape, and then I just kind of rounded the segments over, stuck it in my CNC. I have a rotary axis on it, and that's how I carved these flutes in, because anybody that knows me just a little bit knows I don't have patience for that hand stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest wood. I think it's yellow cedar. It's a bunch of freebie stuff I had. So it's a little bit soft, but I think I'll be doing more of this kind of stuff. So, and it's just finished with spray lacquer. And this is the third of the large vases I've made, and again, I combined my CNC and segmenting. These 3 ones were done using the CNC. So the chain, if you look, like that's one segment there. So I carved the groove in, cut the inlay piece, stuck it in, and then carved the other one so they look like they overlap. These ones, I did some test pieces with some poplar, and just to see how tight they would fit. and they work beautifully. They're actually tight enough I had to pound the pieces in. But when I cut these out, I don't know if it was, I did break a bit. So it's either the bits weren't, you know, like you buy a 1/8 bit. But in my experience, 1/8 bits are not 1/8. You measure them with calipers and they do vary. And for something with close tolerances, if you don't compensate. So it's either that or because it's harder wood, made the bit deflect. But as you can see, I'm not overly happy with this, but at that point I wasn't going to start over.
So you did that on the CNC?
These pieces, like the pieces here, were cut out with my CNC.
Yeah.
As I started off, I was going to do it by hand, and oh my God.
Yeah.
I've got 80 to 90 hours in this already, and it would have easily doubled by cutting each one of these little pieces. So while the robot's working over here, I can be working on someplace else. So it's this is spalted sweet gum, yellow heart, bloodwood, walnut, and it has a floating base. So a little bit of maple in the end too. So white pine poly finish.
Beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
Now we're done for sure, Jeff?
Yeah, sure.
You sure?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. It was nice. Thank you, Nevin, for being the first in It's My Turn. You did very well. Thank you. All right, let's pack up our stuff and